Good evening, guys, and happy Wednesday to all of your sunshiny faces. Well, today I ended up waking up actually pretty late. I think I was just super tired from being up so early yesterday, being gone all day yesterday, just again having so much stuff to do yesterday, and like I think that was part of the reason why. And on top of that too, I ended up like sort of taking a nap or something like that. And then get up to like go and like sort of do all of my like nightly routine things. I still do not wind up sleeping very well, like even if I do wind up taking at least somewhat of a nap, because yesterday I was watching TV, then I ended up falling asleep, then I ended up getting up to go and take a shower and go to bed and all that kind of stuff, but I ended up going to bed sort of later because I took the nap earlier. And so then like I still, like I said, I went to bed late, but then I ended up waking up really late today because of that. So I think that that was partially why, and on top of that too, just like getting very little sleep, I sort of felt like the night before and having to get up so early. And then again too, because I took a nap then yesterday in, like I said, like a late afternoon, like almost pretty much at bedtime. Like I ended up falling asleep while I was watching TV, and then ended up getting up and then was like, okay, now I have to go and take a shower and again like get ready for bed and all this kind of stuff, instead of just like have tried to go to bed early instead of like taking that nap. But the thing was that I thought that I was still pretty awake to like, you know, like sit there and watch TV, and apparently not. I ended up falling asleep. So like I said, and then the whole like, okay, now I took a little nap, now I got back up and I'm going to go and take a shower and go to bed. Like I said, it's that whole like, I didn't actually like get like a full like 8 hours of sleep or anything like that, because like I said, I ended up like getting up in that time. So then because of that, like I said, I ended up waking up so late, and because I took the nap though, I wasn't like tired to like go to bed when I probably should have actually, like, you know, again, got out of the shower, should have just fallen right to sleep. I didn't. I ended up staying up for like another hour almost, because I was so re-energized from napping. So like I said, that's why today I got sort of a late start to my day. I did end up watching the Cubs game and edited during that. That was on at about 1 o'clock. And then I also ended up doing like dishes and laundry and all that before I ended up like when I was making my breakfast this morning, which I think I was telling you guys though, I still ended up getting to most of that tomorrow. So like today was not like a huge catch-up day of all the stuff that I had to do. The only thing that I did have to do that was a little extra was that I didn't end up doing any of my grocery lists over yesterday or on Monday too, which I probably could have started at least like Meijer and Walgreens, because their sales start on Sunday, but the other ones don't start until Wednesday. But I normally get my sales papers on Tuesday, but again, because I was gone all day yesterday, I didn't get any kind of head start on that at all yesterday. So then today, when I normally just have to make like one grocery list for just like Jewel, I still had to make all of them. So I did only finish just the ones really for Valley Produce and Caputo's, and I'm pretty sure I know what I'm getting at Walgreens. I didn't completely write that down, but that should take me like 5 minutes in the morning tomorrow before we go to the grocery stores, because we will be going to, again, Valley Produce and Caputo's tomorrow, and then also should be going to Walgreens. And then Saturday is Meijer, which again too, I have Friday to finish that list, but we have Jack's football game on Friday also. But we do have sort of Jack's like scrimmage football game sort of thing on Friday, and so again, we have that to go to, so I don't have like the late afternoon really to make my grocery list. So like I was saying though, I did wind up getting to most of that today. It's just my timing and stuff like that too for today was a little bit off. Like I said, you know, like I was making my grocery list late in the afternoon, whereas normally I probably would have done it like while I was watching the Cubs game, but like I woke up so late, so I was editing like during that time instead of like normally I would have finished it like early in the morning. So like I said, the timing was just a little off for today. So anyways though, guys, on top of that too, I just felt really tired today. I think it was, like I said, just from everything yesterday. So again, like I just, you know, like, I don't know, my brain was just like, you know, it's sort of like that Monday thing. Like my brain is just starting to get like back into the routine of something after having like, you know, the weekends that are normally just completely scrambled for me. Like normally then Monday I'm sort of working myself getting back into like a normal weekly routine again, because my weekly weekly routine and my weekend routine is completely different. So that's why, you know, after having, again, normally a crazy busy weekends or whatever, you know, or again, just stuff that's not very scheduled, and then getting back into the schedule of like, okay, these are things I normally do every day, that kind of stuff. Normally Monday's that day to sort of get back on track. So that's what I sort of ended up doing today. But like I said, on top of that too, I just felt like sort of tired. And on top of that too, even though it is still very warm out, like today was like still like I think 80s as a high, it hasn't been insanely warm, like it's still been sort of 70s, which is actually really nice out. And that's why too I've been getting like some of that garden work done, because it hasn't been too crazy hot out, like 90 degrees. It's like I said, been a little bit cooler, but because of that, like I was sort of, it's like almost weird, like even though it's not really cool out and like 80s is still pretty hot, it feels very, very fall-like to me outside right now. And on top of that too, like everything has sort of a fall smell, even though it's still summer, it's still hot out. And like normally I don't really start to notice that until like late September, October time, but it's sort of already starting to like smell like fall, and I can't really describe it. It's not like the smell of leaves, and it's not like the smell of like, you know, like the garden or like anything like that. It's just a certain type of like, maybe it's because of the humidity, or like, you know, like the nights are cooler or something like that right now. I don't really know, but like there's something that just sort of has that like fall smell slash feel sort of to it. And like I said, I can't really describe it or completely place my finger on it. But on top of that too, I feel like there's certain things too about, you know, like certain people's houses have certain type of smell. And like I feel like our house though has a certain type of smell almost like during different seasons, like on top of that. And a lot of people are like completely, again, like nose blind to your own smells or the way your house smells and stuff like that. And I do believe that, but like there's a certain, not like a bad smell, but it's very like, again, like in the winter time, like I think maybe it's because of the furnace or the heat or whatever it is, but there's like a certain type of smell like that's in our house like in winter time versus like in summertime, and then too in the fall. And I sort of feel like it's like maybe it's the wood from the house, which I did figure out, guys. Our house is built in 1949, I think, or 1959, I want to say. It was the very last year of one decade, and it was either 49 or 59. I kind of want to actually say that, I don't know what I want to say, because I was like, oh, it's almost 100 years old, because I was thinking like, oh, in another 20 years, I don't think it'd be another 30 years. And I didn't think it was like close to being like 50 years old. So like I said, I want to say it was maybe 49. But again, I think that the hardwood floors in the house are all original to the house. So again too, I feel like there's maybe something like in the wood, like the smell of that, or just like, you know, something that sort of makes it smell sort of like, you know, like the different, again, like temperature changes in the house and stuff like that make certain like furnitures or the wall, the paint, the floors, you know, sort of like smell sort of, you know, like a distinct sort of like I said, it's not like smelly. And I really feel like even if you did wind up coming into our house, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference between the different smells and the seasons unless you lived here permanently. But like sometimes I will randomly, and it happens too sometimes in summer, I'll walk into my mom's like office and I'll be like, oh, it smells like winter in here, when it could be the middle of summer. But like I don't know how to describe it. Like I said, it's just, there's certain like, you know, I think that has something to do sort of with, again, like the heat, the humidity. Maybe it's the bricks from the outside of the house actually sort of like you can smell it through the walls. Like I don't know what it is. And I feel like when you say like that, again, it makes it smell like it's a bad smell, like it's something that like stinks or is musty or something like that. It's not. It's like a nice sort of like pleasant sort of smell. And like I said too, it just reminds me of the different seasons. And sometimes, like I said, I'll randomly smell it like in like a season when it's not, and I'm like, that's really weird. But Matthew and my dad though, at least Matthew for sure, especially agree with me. The attic though does have a very, very distinct smell based on the seasons. Like when we bring out a box of stuff from the attic, and like if we're going through it or something like that in the living room, it smells like the attic. And a lot of times it smells like the winter time in the attic to me. I don't know why it is, and two, because most of the time they're like in totes or whatever, so they're like plastic. So I don't know if it's like the smell of the plastic that sort of smells like that too, but like you'll bring this stuff out of the attic and it has sort of like an attic smell. Again, not like a really like bad smell, but like it just sort of, I don't know how to describe it. Like again, it has one of those sort of smells that are like seasonal. And like again too, smelling a box, you know, or tote with stuff in it from the attic sort of has that smell. And like I said, not necessarily a bad smell, like a gross smell, or like again musty, or you know, attic-y sort of like mothball smell to it, but like I don't know, again sort of a pleasant sort of, you know, not again pleasant and fresh and stuff like that, but like a bad smell, or like again an amazing smell, like, you know, fresh linen and stuff like that. But like I don't know, like I said, it just sort of has that. And like Matthew again totally agrees. But the weird thing is that the attic has a completely different smell than the upstairs. Like again, I don't know how to describe it, but like even though they're in like the same part of the house, the attic, again, maybe it's because it gets hotter and colder because it's not, you know, like heated or air conditioned. It does have maybe, again, like because of the heat that stays in there, it smells a certain way, versus when it's cold in there, it also smells a certain way. But like I said, I don't really know why. It just sort of like, and maybe it's just the things that are in the attic too that give off some type of smell. Like, you know, if I'm near like the Christmas stuff, I can sort of smell the Christmas tree. And like, you know, again, it's a fake Christmas tree, so it's just sort of like a plasticky smell, but like even the Christmas tree sort of smells like the attic then when we bring it down. But in the attic, it sort of almost has its own sort of smell. I don't know how to describe it. I know that sounds really weird, but I really feel like, again, people's houses have smells, and the smell of their house sort of like, and again too, some people's house smell bad and some people's house just smell like, I don't know, a house. Like it's not like it smells like fresh, like a, like, you know, they just used a whole bunch of bleach and cleaned the house sort of smell, but like, you know, they just all sort of have like a distinct smell to them. And like I said, some people's have, you know, not as good smells as some other people. Some houses just smell like a house. I don't, again, know how to describe it. Like my friend's house too, I love the way her house smelled, like when I was growing up, like being over at her house so much. And like her basement smelled like musty, sort of like a basement smell, because they did wind up getting leaks in their basement sometimes. So their basement had a musty smell, but the rest of their house didn't smell like that. And it just, their house was old too, so like it sort of had that like old house smell. And like I said, it's like, you know, almost too when like you freshly paint a room and for a really long time it smells like fresh paint, and it's like the paint doesn't smell bad, but it really doesn't smell good either. It just sort of has like a smell to it, you know? And so like it's sort of like that, like, but a house I feel like has just a smell, and it's not a good smell and it's not really bad smell, it's just sort of a smell, like, you know, again too, people that don't really clean their house that often have sort of a bad smell to it. Or too, if you have pets, I'm sure you have, you know, again, sort of more of a bad pet smell. But like I said, there's sometimes people's houses that just smell distinctively, sort of have like a house smell. And like I said, I feel like it's really more in older houses. And maybe too, it's like because of the wood, or, you know, again, whatever it might be, you know, again, that they have like that sort of smell. Because I'm almost thinking about it too, I'm like, my aunt and uncle's house, like, again, normally when I'm over there, they've got like, you know, a candle burning, whatever, they just clean because they're having guests over and stuff like that, so it's hard to sort of distinguish that smell. But I'm thinking about it and I'm like, they don't have hardwood anywhere in their house, so I'm almost wondering, like, and their house doesn't really smell like a house, at least again when I'm normally over there. So I'm thinking about this and I'm like, maybe it's because they don't have hardwood. Maybe the thing that I'm normally smelling is like hardwood floor sort of smell, because I don't know, does hardwood floor actually have a smell? I don't know why I'm thinking so much about this, but anyways, my whole point where I was going with that was that it has really started to feel and smell a little bit like fall right now. Like the house is smelling like fall. Like the outside is sort of even too smelling like fall. Like the fresh dew sort of on the ground is not frost, you know, clearly because it's still 80 degrees, but it's still starting to smell maybe a little bit more like fall and feel a little bit more like fall. And like I said too, maybe it's just like the really cool temperatures that we're getting a little bit more at night. Like it's dropping down to being like almost, you know, 60 or so degrees some nights, when it's only been about 70s during the day. So like, I don't know, like I said, maybe that's sort of it too. But anyways, that has sort of, like I said, been like the thing that especially this week for sure, for some reason, I have definitely noticed, is that we're starting to sort of have that, the fall feeling is coming alive now. So anyways, I will see you guys all in tomorrow's vlog. If you guys did enjoy today's, make sure you guys give a big old thumbs up. If you guys are new, we'd love it if you'd subscribe, and I'll see all your sunshiny faces tomorrow. So bye guys.